Do you consider yourself to be deeply empathetic? If you do, then you definitely want to stick around and listen to the conversation that we're going to have today with Rachel. Thank you, Rachel, for being here.
You are so welcome. I am glad to be here. I love talking about all things empaths and sensitive people. So, yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And thank you to those who are either watching or listening to us today. So, today I am going to interview Rachel Hudson, who is a certified life coach, as well as a yoga and meditation teacher and a Reiki master. And my name is Mandi Gardner. I'm the founder of Holistic Evolution Shala. I am a trauma informed Ashtanga yoga teacher, as well as a DBT skills coach. For someone who is new to meditation, what advice would you give to ease them into practice? And how does this help with emotional grounding?
Going back to, I'm going to use the word anchor again, like using what you already have. You don't need an elaborate setup. That comes later when you've been doing this for a long time. And it's fun to buy the meditation things, but start small. You probably have a bed. Okay. My
Mhm.
meditation teacher, if you wake up and you're like, I don't have time, lean against the headboard or lean against the pillows and just start with breathing. Close your eyes. I would say remind yourself that comfort is everything, because if it's not comfortable, you probably won't stick with it. Like nobody has to sit in the lotus position. We all don't have the flexy knees like we used to. Just starting small, use what you have, like your watch, your timer, anything on your phone. Yeah, you can download the apps, like I said. What was your second question?
Oh, just like how to help people who are new to meditation. What advice would you give them? I think some of the biggest things that can really hold us back are the limiting beliefs. I have heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't meditate." And so that right there is this very limiting belief, or they're very uncomfortable breathing. I'll teach courses, and in the beginning, we'll start with a mindfulness practice where we do a breathing exercise. And there's always one or two people who really dislike it. And
Yeah.
so, for those people, do you have any advice to help soften them to be a little bit more open to trying it? Or maybe
Yeah.
shifting that belief that it doesn't work or that it won't work for them?
So I used to teach meditation workshops, and the biggest thing was like, let's just go through some of these myths of meditation. We've seen the monk meditating in the mountains. Yeah,
Nice image.
it's great. But we are in yoga, they call it, we're householders. We are busy. We live in this crazy time. And one of the myths is something special is supposed to happen.
Mm.
And I will say, one of my yoga teachers, I'm just stealing all the things. Breathe, everything is optional. Sitting
Ah,
in meditation is uncomfortable. Nobody loves it all the time. This is part of the work so you don't get stressed. Think about, I like to use the benefits of meditation and then flip it around. What is really going on in society? Do you have high blood pressure? Probably. Most people I know have high blood pressure. A lot of people do. High cholesterol, knee-jerk response, again, the waiting in line. How impatient have we gotten? And I've got my notes up here. It improves concentration when you meditate because it's a practice. That's why I say, listen, if you have to start with 16 seconds, great. You've done a
mhm.
meditation. And then explore. I like to think about it as we've got all these tools to meditate. You might not really love all of the tools that we have, but I give everybody all the tools, and it's like trying on the outfit. Like sometimes that uncomfortable sweater, you're just like, I don't know, this just doesn't feel good. My yoga teachers used to say, if you don't like this, try it 10 times before you really decide. And for all the people who are like, no, you don't understand, I have ADHD. I'm like, guess what? I have ADHD too. And it has really
Mm,
been the biggest help for me to meditate. The more you do it, you're just going to do it automatically. But yeah,
that's
there's a
right.
lot of myths out there that
Mhm.
it's only I don't want to meditate because I'm not good at it or I can't. And I'm like, well, you can breathe. So if you can breathe, you can
Yeah.
meditate. For those of you who love coffee, I'll give you a little tip. You can use those five senses. Make your cup of coffee. You can hear it. You can smell it. And I park my booty into one of these bedrooms in the house and I meditate with my coffee. No joke. It's still meditation. I get to sip and it's just
And
anchor that thing. What are you already doing? You
when
know?
you first wake up, your brain is in, and I'm not going to know specifically, but like your brain waves are at their mellow state, right?
Yeah.
Before you've like fully waken up. And
Mhm.
so that is a more meditative state. It's actually perfect to do it with
Yeah.
coffee because you're
I
still in
have
that sort of sleepy,
yeah,
almost.
a little bit quiet in the house.
Mhm.
My dogs have not really even woken up. They're like, just hanging out, make my coffee, and I march back there and just sit. And some days I cannot even stand to be with myself. And I just want to say that every day is going to look a little different. My meditation teacher, he has these two funny little, I think they're called acronyms, RPM, Rise P, meditate. So you get up, do your stuff, and then meditate. And then RAW is right after work, the two magical times to meditate. I did have a client and she's like, I just can't meditate. I don't have any time. And she just gave me her list of things that she had to do. And I'm like, do you ever find yourself like waiting? She's, oh my gosh, I have to wait on my kids to get out of school. I'm in the pickup line. And I'm like, how about while you're waiting on your kids, just try 2 minutes, set a timer, 2 minutes, and go to the 16-second breathing. I'm like, let's just start super, super easy. And then we
That's
can grow from that.
perfect.
She's got a great meditation practice.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yep, just to find those few minutes in the day that you can squeeze it in.
And I know
Yeah.
we are all super busy and it's almost like a necessity at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how do you think that meditation has increased your self awareness? We're essentially recommending meditation for people who are highly sensitive and empathic as a form of coming back to yourself, coming back to the present moment, being able to deal with intense emotions or triggers. I wonder what's your personal experience of, have you had any aha moments in meditation that helped you to realize, oh, having these little moments of clarity? What's been your experience with that?
Such is life. We all go through the things, whether it's family, work, the whole thing. When I'm in meditation, and I think it reminds me that I'm just going to put it like this. I'm so onto myself and my BS when I meditate. And it's AKA self awareness, but I'm on to myself. I know these little emotional tells, these little things that I get a little snippy. And even in meditation, I'm like, oh, yeah, but I remember that one time where he pushed me down on the playground when I was 12. All these weird things start coming up in meditation. It can be quite uncomfortable. It could be from 20 years ago. And sometimes these memories just surface. It's a great way to just pause. It's a great way to, and this is coming up, and I'm going to sit. It's like my dog. I had to teach him when he was a puppy. I'm like, you have to sit and we have to do that with ourselves because I feel like we have that sometimes like that puppy brain that we just want to push all the buttons and we want to do all the things like meditate. I can't meditate. But
Mhm.
really for me, it's I don't know what I would do without it. And we're all trying to be a little bit better than we were the day before. But usually by 4 o'clock, I'm like, man, I've got to apologize. I didn't stick to my schedule. I didn't drink enough water. But you know what I can do? I can sit for 2 minutes and breathe all the way in and all the way out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I know that myself, being a trauma survivor and experiencing the adult symptoms of CPTSD, anxiety and depression and hypervigilance, like these things I'm very familiar with. And
Yeah.
what meditation has really brought to my life is when I suffer a lot of resentments and a lot of resentments are coming up, it really helps me to sit in it and to ask myself, am I being really judgmental right now? Am I being really critical? Are these judgments or these criticisms that are coming up, are they accurate? And
Yeah.
if not, how can I reframe that? And so for me, it's really allowed me to observe like how my mind really works and to see
Yeah.
that my mind is not always correct. In fact, it can be
Right.
wrong quite often, right? Really recognize that and oh, okay, that's my fear talking right now and that's not necessarily reality, and to take a breath and take a moment. So I personally just, it's been such a lifeline for me in my development and my growth. Thank
And it
you.
does give, I feel like we say this in yoga, but it's this bank account that you make your deposits in, whether it's your 2 minutes or 20 minutes. It's like you're building up this savings account. And then when you really need it, those moments, like my critical moments of myself, other people, they should be doing it this way. I can't believe we have invested so much. And I want to remind people that just because you didn't meditate today doesn't mean you can't just stop and think about and feel that from the investment that you've put into yourself. I do believe we get a cumulative effect of over time a lower blood pressure.
Mhm.
Even on
Mhm.
ADHD medication and the amount of caffeine that I have in my body on a consistent basis, every time I get my blood pressure taken, they're like, "How do you do it?" And I'm like, "It's meditation." I'm proud of it. I have a lot of coffee, a lot of tea. I do not drink anymore, and I'm on a stimulant
But you're
medication.
able to stay grounded.
I can stay grounded, and if I get a little bit angsty, I'm like, "Okay, you can take some breaths even though you're driving. Or even though
Yeah,
you're in a waiting room and it's uncomfortable and you're up next, we can always dip into that bank account."
that's perfect. Yeah, really building up the positive thoughts to support the
Yeah.
positive beliefs, to take over those old limiting beliefs that we hold on to.
It's almost
I
like the
think that's
meditation really gets into us. I don't know if that made any sense, but it's the meditation with it we can catch ourselves and we can create that pause before we really act like a fool sometimes.
right,
Or say the
right.
thing, or send that email with your middle finger that you really probably don't wanna send. Yeah,
Right.
it's gonna
Well, and
keep
this
you
is,
from doing that.
yeah, meditation has been a big part of my personal, emotional, and mental intelligence. It really does help. It's such a beautiful thing.
You can reach me at rachelkhudson.com, and your website is once again?
It's holisticevolutionshala.com. Will
Thank
do.
you so
Oh,
much,
thank
and
you, Rachel.
thank you.